This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode, it is Anastasia, the singer, songwriter, and rhythm guitarist for Martini Russa. She was born in Moscow, moved to Arizona with her mother at the age of 15, where upon graduating from high school, she studied jazz history, piano performance, and psychology at the University of Arizona. Anastasia's been in bands since she was 16 years old and has released albums of original songs with her bands. She has a PhD in psychology and an MBA from Oxford University. But in the end, she mustered all of her courage to follow the path of music instead. Anastasia, welcome to the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you so much, Steve. Happy to be here. Well, when you put it like that, that sounds awesome.
Well, it's great to have you here. Before we dive in here, how do you usually describe Martini Russa and the sound to someone who's never heard your music before?
Well, we usually say we are a blues rock band. We mostly classic rock with a lot of blues influences. One of our friends once said, "You guys are like if Rage Against the Machine played Pink Floyd," and
Mm,
we grabbed it and ran with it. We love it.
that's a good description. I like that. Do you
Thank you.
remember the moment when music first felt like it was going to be more than just a hobby for you?
Uh, I mean, I think there were many moments. I really wanted to grab my guitar and go on the road after high school, after I finished college. I one of the songs that we've finished recording recently, but it's not coming out yet. It's kind of a secret. It's called "My Mama Didn't Let Me Go." It's a
Mm.
semi-autobiographical song. So she really truly said, "No, go get an education. No, get a real degree." I was ready to go. But I love science as well. And once I started making money with science, I guess that's many people's story of how they put their dream on the back burner because they discovered money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like there was a lot of money, but still, I got to be on the road with science. I got to go to lots of conferences in many different countries and meet lots of amazing, smart people. But in the end, really, I realized, look, I cannot live without music. Science, I'll always find something to read, somebody to talk to. I don't need to do that as a profession, you know. There can always be a job, but
Yeah.
music, I will die if I don't do it.
Mentioned in the introduction you were born in Moscow, then moved to Phoenix as a teenager. How did that cultural shift shape you personally and musically?
Oh, in a lot of ways, I guess. Musically, so it was, I'm going to date myself here, but it was late 90s when I moved, or early 2000s, right, when I moved to Phoenix. And all these kind of rock and roll as we know it, classic rock was, on the decline, right? If you look at the charts through the years after about 2003, 90% of the songs that made it to the big charts were not rock anymore. It was pop, and then there was rap and hip hop. And while I love all of that, I feel like I guess it's like a nostalgia thing where we're trying to keep that beautiful era of rock and roll and the songs that are just, I don't know, there is this purity and yet there is anger in the music of rock, of classic rock and of rock and roll, right? It's kind of both, which is really a metaphor for life. You cannot be happy truly unless you've known pain. So rock and roll to me, it gives all of that. And so does blues, of course, too.
From Ghetto Princess to The Theory to One Wing Left, you've been in a number of bands I mentioned in the introduction too. How do you see your evolution across those different bands, and how do you think you've evolved as a singer?
Well, so I studied classical music in Russia. I studied blues and jazz in the US. And then when I was in Oxford, England, a friend of mine at the time found this vocal guru. he actually wrote textbooks apparently on the neurology, on the neuroscience of the vocals. And he was the one who really truly opened up my voice. And now I feel like I can do anything. I'm free. He gave me the freedom of my voice. His name was Alexander Massey, and he is a serious force of nature. So he specializes actually in voice recovery. So usually um, opera singers who have had polyps or some kind of problems with their voice come to him after surgery when the doctors told them, sorry, you're never going to sing again. In a few months, they go back on stage and they say, wait, the doctor told me I'll never sing again. And Alexander Massey would tell them, he's right. You will never sing again, but you will talk and people will think that you're singing.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about your current project, Martini Russa. How did Martini Russa come together, and what's the story of the band's formation?
So just as I finished my MBA, I went to Spain for on vacation with actually not even my friend, my father's friend. Long story. And we were there for 5 days, and she's had everything planned, one of those control freaks that has every minute planned of a vacation, except for one night. And she said, what do you want to do? This is kind of your night. You can do whatever. And I said, well, I want to go see some flamenco. Back in Arizona, I used to dance flamenco for a few years and even sang some flamenco, even though I don't really speak Spanish. And back then I spoke absolutely no Spanish. So we went to see some flamenco and we went to the best place that's like a dinner and a show kind of thing. And the manager of the restaurant was Martini. And I met him there. And somebody sent me a jug of sangria and said, Martini, Martini. And I said, I'm Russian. I'm not stupid. This is a sangria. So, and then Martini came out and we met. And I met all the musicians there that night, as of course you do. And we started playing the very same night. He closed the restaurant. We waited for him at it's a neighboring bar, and he took us to a bar called Obama, which is still around in Barcelona. There's actually a statue of Obama sitting on a bench like this, so everybody sits here and choreograph with him. So, and they have live music every single night, and we just kind of infiltrated it and took over. And I showed him one of my songs called City of Ghosts, which I had just written at the time, and he put a flamenco spin on it even. So Martini was already there, even though he was born in Brazil.
So that's how it came together on that night.
That's how it came together. Yes, that night.
What themes and emotions run through your songs? What's the heartbeat of this project?
I think freedom is the heartbeat, both freedom in relationships and freedom from your own as artists and humans. We tend to self-sabotage in everything we do, right? In relationships, I do I deserve to be happy? At work, do I even deserve this job? This imposter syndrome. And also in, education, in political situations, dictatorships, all of this. So really freedom is the one thing that connects everything. So I write about, of course, I have love songs. I have philosophical songs about, ghost towns and the earth coming to an end. And I also have rather angry, pissed off songs against dictators and subservience and all of that.
As a rhythm guitarist and a songwriter, what's your process? Do songs start with words, chords, or something else entirely?
Mostly they start with words. Once in a while, I'll pick up a guitar and the whole thing will just pour out of me with the chords, with the melody, with the song, with the lyrics. I call this kind of a artistic pregnancy. Sometimes I'll walk around and I feel like I should write something and nothing comes out, or something horrible comes out. And then I can wake up at 3 in the morning or stop a shower, just run out, blah, and this happens. So I think the best songs actually come out that way when it's just, I don't know, it's like it's coming from outside of me.
What's the plan for new music for this band coming up?
Um, we've wanted to do a concept album for a long time. I'm hoping that now that we've moved or in the process of still moving into a new place in New Jersey, close to New York City, we will need to find like-minded musicians because right now we're a duo and we do like to be a band. We need a bass player and a drummer. Um, and it the writing process, of course, the arranging process depends on all of the musicians. We like all of the musicians to be involved in the final, writing stages of songs. So I really hope that that will happen by the end of the year at the latest, and we can start writing and we can go to the studio and actually, because I've got a few songs or kind of notes that I've written while we were on tour for a month across the United States. Um, and I've got some songs on the back burner um, as well. So I hope this will all come together into some kind of a concept album about, well, freedom.
What is your take, Anastasia, on the current rock and alternative scene in the US compared to when you started out in music at 16?
Well, when I started out, I didn't know that it was going to decline and be kind of conquered by everything else, including reggaeton.
Mm.
Um, Now I feel like there is hope. And interestingly, the hope actually came from the 2020 win of Grammys by Billie Eilish. I considered her to be rather rocky. Then there was, of course, Olivia Rodrigo. Then there was Greta Van Fleet and Black Pumas. And
Mm.
so it goes, there is hope. And I would like to be at the forefront of this rock and roll revival.
If you could jam with any artist in history, alive or dead, who would it be and what would you play?
There are three artists. Of course, that would be Freddie Mercury, number one. He's dead, but he's alive in all of us.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, it would be just amazing to see his songwriting process, his recording process. I'm a junkie for the studio. I am always so excited to be in the studio. And of course, I have to always sit there and wait for everybody else. And then I do it everything in one or two takes. And I'm like, what? I've been here for 2 days and I did it in 15 minutes. So just to be in the studio with him and do anything. The second one is Jacob Collier, who is a British musician. He plays everything. He tunes his guitars however he wants. He does microtonal things on the piano. Like he's just insane. Just anything. It would be really cool to see what he would do with one of my songs. In fact, any one of my songs.
Mm.
And then the third one is also a British, actually a Welsh guy. He's new and he's unsigned, but I'm completely obsessed with him right now. His name is Ren, Ren. Ren Giles or Giles, don't know how he pronounced, but he just goes by Ren, and he's got these amazing videos. He talks unapologetically about politics and human relationships, and he does it both in an acoustic guitar, in a rock setting, and in rap. He raps a lot beautifully. I highly recommend him.
What would surprise your fans the most about you outside of music?
I guess that I was a professor of psychology until a couple of weeks ago, and my students loved me, and I can be serious. But of course, I also teach with humor, and I try to teach people that at the end, the only defense is your mind, so keep it sharp and ablaze. And if I can help people do that, whether through an official university program or hopefully more on stage, that's why I want to reach bigger audiences because I think my message is we're all responsible for our own education. And if we don't hone our curiosity and our skills and we've got it all right at our fingertips now. Ask ChatGPT, but try to
Yeah.
think for yourself and do get informed. Don't just listen to what people tell you, whether they have white coats, whether they are a mom, or whether they're people on the news. Do fact check things yourself. All my friends know me that I'm always, whenever somebody says something, oh, this is the most dangerous city in America, I go, excuse me? And usually
Always
they're
fact
wrong.
check.
Always fact check. Yeah.
All right, we know you have new music coming out, hopefully an album at some point here. What about touring for next year?
Oh my gosh, this one month long tour that it was a DIY tour. I booked it all myself. Yeah, we started on January 1st. Actually, I woke up and somebody texted me, "Are you coming to Minnesota?" And I said, "Well, I guess I've started booking the tour, and so everything else is around Minnesota." Um, it kind of took everything out of us a little bit. We stayed in some really shady hotels and Airbnbs, and actually at a hotel got even bitten by bed bugs.
Mm. Oh man.
So, so don't talk to me about tours yet. I need a moment.
After that experience, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yes.
nothing
So
on
if I
tours
if
yet,
I
but
find a good booking agency,
yes, to
yeah.
put you in good hotels where you don't get bitten. All right, well, they have new music coming, probably a tour next year as well. And my final question for you, Anastasia, if someone listens to Martini Russa for the very first time, what do you hope stays with them after that last note fades?
I hope they're inspired
Mm.
to go and read a book.
Inspired to read a book after listening to Martini Russa. Well, she's Anastasia. Make sure to check out their music wherever you stream your music. Follow them on social media for updates on new music and tour dates, and catch a live show if you can, if one is coming nearby. Thank you for joining me, Anastasia.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having me.
They are Martini Russa. That is Anastasia, the lead singer. And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, write a review too. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Richards.